Okay guys, this week's lesson is to do with fundamental motor skills. So if you look at the screen at the minute, you'll see a number of different images and pictures where a number of sports performers are taking part in sport and performing a number of different skills. The skills you should be able to see are things such as kicking, hitting, jumping and throwing. So what you need to be able to demonstrate is you need to be able to identify what the fundamental motor skills are. You need to understand how they are measured, and you need to be able to explain these fundamental motor skills and apply them to practical examples. So, what are fundamental motor skills? They are basic skills such as throwing or kicking a ball or jumping. We learn these skills at a young age, usually through play, and if they are learned thoroughly, we can move on to the more sophisticated actions that are required in sport. So for example, in basketball, in order to perform a layup shot, the performer would need to be able to run and would need to be able to throw a ball. For example, in tennis, when performing a serve in tennis, the performer would need to be able to throw the ball in the air and then hit it. So these are basic skills that people need before they can perform the more difficult skills in that sport. So what are they? Well, they are throwing, running, kicking, jumping, hitting, and you've also got catching. How do we measure these fundamental motor skills? Well, running. Running can be measured through time. Example, 100 meters, 30-meter sprint. You measure that by time using a stopwatch. A throw or a catch, well, you measure a throw through the distance that you've thrown it, or accuracy. Example, when throwing a discus or a javelin, you measure that through the distance that it's been thrown. Kicking. Well, you measure a kick through accuracy of the kick or from the distance that the ball has travelled. For example, a footballer shooting, you could measure his kick by recording the distance. Jumping. You can measure a jump. For example, in a long jump, you measure the distance of how far somebody has jumped through the sandpit. You can measure jumping also through height. For example, the high jump. And hitting. You can measure hitting through accuracy and through distance. For example, a hockey player hitting the ball to a teammate, you can measure this by how far the person has hit. So, you need to be able to firstly identify the fundamental motor skills that are used in sport. You need to be able to explain how they are measured, so how, for example, kicking is measured or how hitting is measured, and to be able to explain the fundamental motor skills in terms of relating them to a practical sport. So for example, a basketball player would need to be able to run and would need to be able to catch a ball and would need to be able to shoot the ball, i.e. throw the ball.